Finally the filler is over. I know it wasn't a lot of filler, but good lord, it felt like a lot of filler, didn't it? So praise be to Yevon, Viceroy, your occupation here has ended, however you want to express it. Filler's over. It's time for Ash to get another gym badge. And I'm all here for it because I want this goddamn story to progress. I'm genuinely really happy that we're getting some story substance finally. Oh, let's go. Today's episode begins with Ash, Misty and Brock in Viridian City, and Ash says,
I can't believe it's been a whole year since we were here.
What are you talking about, mate? You were here 2 episodes ago before you randomly decided to bugger off to Cerulean City. Look, I know this is pretty pedantic, but haven't all of Ash's gym battles been for badges? I'm just saying, it's a very lazy episode title. Brock and Misty talk about Ash being fired up and then realize that Pikachu and Togepi have randomly started a campfire in front of the gym. Misty even says,
Holy smokes, put out that fire!
Which means it's not just an anime metaphor, they have started a literal fire out in a public place. Pikachu and Togepi are arsonists. Pass it on. Direct quote from Ash to Pikachu.
With a pal like you behind me, how can I lose?
Easily. Really easily. You literally had to redo the last gym battle because Pikachu couldn't beat Magmar. Hey, Gary's back, and for some reason he's got 10 gym badges. Alright, firstly, you only need 8 badges to get into the Pokemon League, so why would you go to the effort to get 2 more badges on top of that? Then again, this is Gary, and he's an arrogant bastard like me, so he probably did it just for the bragging rights, didn't he? But more importantly, we can see that he has the Boulder badge from Pewter City, the Cerulean City's Cascade badge, and the Rainbow badge from Celadon City. But where the hell did these other 7 badges come from? They don't look like badges from any gym I've ever heard of, and one of them looks like the bloody Portal Companion Cube. What an arsehole Gary is. He doesn't even acknowledge the woman driving his car, or like ask her politely, can you move your seat up so I can get out of the car? He literally just vaults over her without saying anything. You've heard of big dick energy, right? Well, this ain't it. This is big dickhead energy. Ash goes to follow Gary into the gym, but is stopped by the guards, who claim that only one trainer can enter the gym at a time. Since when was that a rule? Surely you should be allowed to go in and scout the gym leader you're thinking of facing. It's almost like this gym has something to hide. Ash worries that Gary is somehow going to end up ahead of him, and Misty points out that Gary has been ahead of Ash since the very beginning, and this fact somehow destroys Ash. Mate, you know you were the last kid to leave Pallet Town, and you know that you've never overtaken Gary, so why are you surprised that he's ahead of you? Use your noodle. In his defense, sometimes you just don't want to hear all the reasons that you know you fall short out loud. Much in the same way that I know that Siri Battles and MetroMania don't do as well as WTF Moments, but sometimes I just don't want to hear it. I love those series. Please watch them. Ash starts to mope and Togepi gives him a little pat on the back. And after Ash realizes that this is Togepi and not Pikachu, he literally throws Togepi into the air. Mate, he's been traveling with Togepi for weeks now. There is no way he'd be that surprised at the sight of it. I reckon this was deliberate, you know. Ash is still bitter that the Pokemon that hatched from the egg that he stole chose to be Misty's Pokemon and not his. As a result, he took the perfect opportunity to stage an accident to get rid of Togepi altogether. I'll be honest, that's not very protagonisty, Ash. In a freak chain of events, Togepi ends up on the roof of the gym caught in a Fearo's beak. I mean, say what you want about whether or not Ash planned this, but that's one hell of a trick shot. A really easy shot to land is hitting the thumbs up button to show that you're enjoying this content. It really helps me out. I wish I didn't have to ask for likes because I know that annoys people, but statistically, more people will like a video if they are reminded that that is a thing that they can do. So that's why we do it. If we could get between like 2,500 to 5,000 likes on this video, that would tell YouTube, hey, more people should see this. Recommend it to more people, please. And that would really help us out as a channel. Also, if you're new here, hello, how you doing? I really hope you're enjoying what you see. If you are, hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss an episode of WTF Moments. I told you Ash wanted Togepi gone. When Misty understandably panics and yells at Ash asking how could he do this to her Togepi, he laughs and says it was an accident. Togepi, who is effectively Misty's baby at this point, has been taken away by a Fearow and Ash is making jokes? Yeah, he definitely wanted this to happen. Ash Ketchum is a sociopath. pass it on. Does this count as fan service? Togepi landing on James's arse and James letting out his signature ooh? Because to me this feels like fan service that ended up as unintentional comedy instead of being comedy that ended up looking like fan service. Maybe it's just me. Not a WTF moment, but I just wanted to ask the question while we're here. Where is Giovanni's accent from? Sometimes he sounds like a very posh English person, but then other times there's a bit of an American twang. He sounds a little bit like President Siebert from Big Bang Theory, so I don't really know. It's not massively important, I'm just genuinely curious.
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find at this point in the anime, Giovanni's voiced by Ted Lewis, who's also the voice of
I know that. That's not my question. I'm not asking who voices him. I'm asking what accent the person who voices him is attempting to do. Give Jesse credit where credit is due. This plank is perched precariously between two buildings, and the edges barely meet the edges of the buildings. If ever there was a scale of just how precarious a perch was, this would be pretty high on that scale. Jesse has gonads of steel. Confirmed. Jessie has died. What did she fall? Like 13 stories? Like, that's not livable. Rest in peace, Jessie, I suppose. I mean, obviously anime armor applies here, but even so, girl's dead. Also, you've got to give credit to James and Meowth, who ran down all those stairs faster than a falling human with nothing in their path who got a head start. I'm just saying, that's pretty fast, isn't it? I love that Togepi dives off the building and lets itself get caught anyway. Like, if it was just going to give itself up, there was no reason for Jessie to fall to her potential death. Togepi was just being a sadistic fuck. Now this is the stuff we watch Pokemon for. Gary versus Giovanni, let's go! I expect nothing but a back and forth anime battle for the ages from this one. Spoiler alert, I'm about to be disappointed. Oh mate, come on. Gary sends out Nidoking, and Giovanni laughs and calls out Golem, so you're thinking, oh, it's gonna use a super effective same type attack bonus ground type move and absolutely demolish Nidoking. But Giovanni chooses Tackle. For fuck's sake. And then Gary responds by telling his Nidoking to also use Tackle, which isn't very effective on Golem. I expected so much from these two. This is tragic. Wait, one not very effective Tackle is enough to take out Giovanni's Golem? What level is that Nidoking? Giovanni's next Pokemon is a Kingler. Wait, a Kingler? When did Giovanni ever have a Kingler? That's such a weird choice for him. Like, who made this decision? Kingler! I just can't get over it. It's just like the least Giovanni Pokemon anyone could have ever thought to give him. I'm just saying, why wasn't this his Dugtrio or his Nidoqueen? Kingler can't land a Crab Hammer on Gary's Nidoking. Mate, I know how that feels. 90% accuracy moves never feel like they're 90% accurate when you're using them, do they? I feel like I've definitely missed more Crab Hammers than I've landed. Gary recognizes that his Nidoking is weak to water-type moves, so calls it back, and then sends out fucking Arcanine. Gary, mate, how is that going to be more help? It's not like it can even learn any electric moves in Gen 1. Speaking of moves it can't learn in Gen 1, Gary asks Arcanine to use Fire Spin. That move wasn't possible without breeding with a Vulpix, a Ninetales, a Ponyta, a Rapidash, or a Flareon, and that mechanic wasn't available until Gen 2. Gary is either a hacker or a time traveler. I'll let you decide which. Gary says he really doesn't want to disappoint his fans. There is something just a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of a 10-year-old boy who's so keen to impress the group of adult women that he travels around with. It just all seems pretty toxic to me. After Arcanine uses Fire Blast, Kingler is defeated. I know it was struggling to land Crab Hammers, but Kingler, a water-type Pokemon, shouldn't be being defeated that easily by a couple of Fire-type moves. It's no wonder Giovanni's built himself this entire evil empire dedicated to stealing Pokemon for him, because his own Pokemon are shite. Hang on, when did Arcanine shrink? It's supposed to be 6'3", but if that's the case, then how tall does that make Gary? Speaking of tall, look how tall this wonderful 25-ounce G Fuel shaker is. Oh, it's beautiful. You can use code ACE for all of your G Fuel needs to get yourself 10% off. You lucky people. I'm drinking the fabulous Bobby Boysenberry right now. It is delicioso. Let me have a little sipperoo real quick. That is a thing of beauty, and it's only made better by being in an even taller shaker. Remember, of course, G Fuel is for over 18s only because children don't need caffeine, and this is a caffeinated product. Although, if you do want to get a non-caffeinated version of G Fuel, there is the hydration range, which I definitely recommend you guys look into. And of course, because this contains caffeine, just make sure you drink responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. But remember, use code ACE, save yourself some money while supporting this wonderful channel. Thank you. Giovanni then reveals his ultimate Pokemon, which lifts Gary's Arcanine off the ground with just the power of its mind and slams Arcanine against the wall. Direct quote from Gary.
How did it do that?
Gary, are you really trying to tell us that you've earned 10 gym badges and yet you've never come across a psychic type Pokemon? I mean, we didn't see you with a Marsh badge, so you've definitely not encountered Sabrina, but really? You've never come across a psychic type? Okay, well if that's the case, then let's give you a little lesson in psychic type Pokemon, Mr. Gary. Psychic type Pokemon can use psychic type moves, and psychic type moves, lo and behold, often consist of using psychic powers such as psychokinesis. It's almost like it's in the name. Wow, even the Pokédex doesn't know what this Pokemon is. 11-year-old me was probably losing his mind right about now. Except he probably wasn't, because the base set of the Pokemon TCG, which included a card of this Pokemon, was released in English in January 1999, and this episode didn't air in English until September 1999, so chances are 11-year-old Liam and everybody else watching probably knew what this Pokemon was. Not to mention almost every kid alive during this time period had a poster with the first 150 Pokemon on it. But hey, if somehow you'd managed to keep away from the TCG, which was basically impossible in 1999, or you didn't have that one poster that everybody seemed to have, then maybe this might have shocked you. Direct quote from Gary.
No data?
Yeah, mate, that's exactly how we felt when Oak gave us our Pokédexes in red and blue. Alright, I'm gonna talk you through this exchange real quick. Giovanni says, "Go ahead, use more than one Pokemon if you're afraid to lose." Gary then says,
Well, I'm not afraid of anything.
he then proceeds to send out Nidoking to face this mysterious Pokemon. And his Arcanine. Alright, let me get this straight. You're not afraid to lose, or anything, to use your words. But Giovanni says you can use more than one Pokemon if you are afraid to lose. So you send out 2 Pokemon, which, last time I checked, is more than 1, which confirms that you are in fact afraid to lose. Gary.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Also, what good is Arcanine even going to be here? It just got knocked out moments ago. It's probably only on 1 hit point. I know sending out a different Pokemon probably wouldn't have made a difference, but surely it was worth a try. I love that the question we're supposed to be asking as the show goes to a commercial break is, what was that mysterious Pokemon? Who was that mysterious Pokemon? But the answer to the ad breaks question of who's that Pokemon is Mr. Bloody Mime. Imagine if Giovanni's ultimate Pokemon had turned out to be a Mr. Mime all along. That'd have been amazing. I find it so weird that Giovanni is completely unimpressed by Togepi. Like, I get that it doesn't look like much, but it's still a rare Pokemon in Kanto at this point. Since at this point in time, we only knew about 151 different species of Pokemon, and Togepi wasn't one of them, which means it's an anomaly on par with the Ho-Oh that we saw in episode 1. Giovanni should be seeing $signs at the idea of something so incredibly rare. I mean, obviously it just means he's already been to Johto, but hey, in September 1999, we didn't know about no Johto. Giovanni suddenly has to leave because there's been an accident and leaves Jesse and James in charge of the Viridian City Gym, and even leaves them 3 of his own Pokemon for them to use. Mate, you were literally just calling them incompetent and now you're leaving them in charge of the gym? Are you telling me you didn't even have like 1 member of staff that could have taken over for you in your absence? Like, surely someone who travels as much as Giovanni must have an admin or someone that is in place in case he leaves the gym to be his stand-in. Could you not have just paged that person? I'm just saying, it's a bit weird to leave your gym and effectively your public reputation in the hands of some people that you were just about to fire for being incompetent. Giovanni approaches his mysterious ultimate Pokemon, whose identity at this point we still don't know.
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find that's me.
Shh! Shut up! I'm trying to bait the comments. We cut to Ash, Misty and Brock running around Viridian City looking for Togepi and shouting its name, but none of them are looking up. Last time we saw Togepi, it was lodged in the beak of a Fearow, a flying Pokemon, so surely up would be the better direction to look in this particular search, wouldn't it? They hear Togepi's voice coming from inside the gym and work together to prise open the door. That, my friends, is breaking and entering. That's not very protagonistic. They spot Gary and his fans lying unconscious on the floor of the gym, and Ash exclaims,
It's Gary!
And Brock follows up with,
And the girls!
and sounds just a little too excited at the prospect of a group of unconscious women. I'm just saying, keep an eye on Brock. Gary tells Ash that this was all done by a Pokemon that they've never seen before, a one that's not just powerful, but evil too. Ash then says there can't be an evil Pokemon. Well, there can be. Even when there were only 151 species of known Pokemon, statistically there's bound to be a few arseholes among them. It's just common sense. sense. See, this is why it was a bad idea to put Jessie and James in charge of the gym. They're literally wearing their Team Rocket uniforms. This means that the Viridian City gym being run by Team Rocket is no longer a secret, which in turn means that one of Giovanni's cover-up operations is now no longer viable. The jig is up. They've literally rumbled their own boss's plans just by wearing their uniforms. What a pair of twats. Brock warns Ash not to climb up into the trainer's box in case Team Rocket have booby-trapped it, and James taunts Ash by saying if he runs away now, he'll never get the Earth Badge. Give a shit. Gary's already confirmed that there's like 7 other gyms Ash could go to get his 8th badge. He'd be better off just walking away now and reporting this place to the police. But of course he won't, because he's Ash. Jessie reveals the Pokemon loaned to them by Giovanni were Machamp, Kingler, and Rhydon, which in Generation 1 is a pretty decent bunch of Pokemon. Given that position-wise it looks like Machamp is going to be the first up, I'll never understand why Ash sends out Squirtle. Pidgeotto would have been a way better choice for this battle, and not just because Gust would be super effective and have same type attack bonus, but also just because of Pidgeotto's general stats compared to Squirtle's. Ash mate, you're a numpty. So it turns out Team Rocket have rigged the trainer's box to shock Ash and effectively make Ash feel the pain that his Pokemon feels during the battle. Is that some kind of elven technology? How the hell does that work? Like, what is it that monitors how much pain Squirtle is in? It's not like it's hooked up to electrodes or anything. Electrodes. But seriously, I can't figure out how this machine would know how much pain to give to Ash. I guess this machine just runs on the power of anime. I know it's only a minor detail, but it does really annoy me that after Ash gets shocked by the machine, he sends out Bulbasaur without returning Squirtle first. And Jessie responds by sending out Kingler, which is a terrible choice by the way, but doesn't call Machamp back. Like I say, it's a minor thing, but I just prefer a little bit more attention to detail here. After Team Rocket's Kingler no-sells Bulbasaur's Vine Whip after only a single Harden, it uses Bubble on Bulbasaur, and Ash once again gets shocked. But Bulbasaur's a grass type, so it resists water type moves, so realistically, how much pain is it really going to be in? Ash then sends out Pidgeotto, again without returning Bulbasaur first, which yes, still bothers me, but Pidgeotto uses Quick Attack on Rhydon. Okay, ignoring the fact that the normal type Quick Attack is not very effective on the rock type Rhydon, what the hell did Rhydon do wrong? Rhydon hasn't attacked anyone or anything, it's an innocent bystander. There was no reason for Pidgeotto to attack Rhydon. Hashtag justice for Rhydon. Pidgeotto uses Double Edge on Rhydon, who at this point still hasn't done anything wrong, and the pain gets sent through to Jessie's trainer box and she gets shocked. And this apparently happens because James didn't see how they could lose and therefore figured it wouldn't matter if he set the box up that way. Now I get that the joke here is that Team Rocket are dumb, but this is like extra dumb. If Jessie, James and Meowth are the ones that rigged up these trainer boxes like this, surely it took more effort to rig both boxes like this than to just do one. Which means that James went to extra effort to rig Jessie's box like that when he could have just not, especially if he didn't think it would matter. James mate, use your noodle. Jessie tells all 3 Pokemon to attack at once and also sends out Arbok and Weezing, and since Jessie's breaking the rules, Ash decides to send out Pikachu too. Basically, this is turning into an AEW Dynamite main event. A mass brawl with 2 opposing factions sending in all of their teammates. Lads, I know the video's late, but it's not Wednesday. Why the hell is Rhydon affected by Pikachu's Thunderbolt? It's a goddamn ground type! Pokémon Anime writers, I beg you to learn your type effectiveness, or even just your type immunities. There's only a few of them, especially in this gen. Togepi hits both buttons on the remote control for the trainer boxes, and they just both explode? Okay, crazy torture, pain replicating tech aside, why would you rig them to literally murder the opponent? That would be a lot more difficult to explain to the authorities. And again, why would Meowth go to the extra work to rig up Team Rocket's box like this? It just doesn't make any sense. This absolutely reeks of we didn't really know how to get rid of Team Rocket's advantage here or how to get rid of them at the end. Write yourself into a little box, did you, Pokemon? Yeah, an exploding trainer box apparently. As Team Rocket get blasted off once again, Jessie drops an Earth Badge and it lands in Ash's hand. It just feels weird. Like technically he did defeat all 3 of the acting gym leaders' Pokemon, like they weren't knocked out but they all ran away, which is technically a forfeit, but still. This is one of the few gym badges that Ash Ketchum genuinely earns, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like he earned it at all. I really can't explain it. Does anyone else feel like this? Okay, you've kind of got to question the construction of a gym that collapses completely after getting just a hole in the roof? Did that one section of roof really hold the key to this building's structural integrity? Answers on a postcard. Get this right, neither Ash, nor Misty, nor Brock knows where the Pokémon League is. Ash, who has dreamed of entering the Pokémon League and even has an official Pokémon League hat, doesn't know where the Pokémon League is held. Misty and Brock, two official Pokémon League gym leaders whose badges officially allow people to enter the Pokémon League, also have no idea where the Pokémon League is held. Imagine not knowing where the head office for the place you work is. These two are really crap at their jobs. There is one thing that we all know though: Ash, Misty and Brock are dumbasses. Pass it on. So those are my WTF moments for Pokemon Season 1, Episode 63, The Battle of the Badge. Let me know your favourites and any that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to help this channel succeed. Use code ACE for money off G Fuel and head over to twitch.tv/AceTrainLiam for all of my live streams. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainliam. That's definitely my name. Keep on training.